I guess we're huh. I guess we're starting the vlog here. Just because I don't trust to have enough time before the appointment today. It's whatever. I know it's been 3 weeks since our last the actual vloggy vlog or whatever, and the motor vlog doesn't thing. The ride-alongs don't really count because it's kind of a distraction, and I know that going into it. So, some of that silly stuff and me just kind of goofing off is by design. I fully intend to be silly because it's kind of distracting to try to vlog about what's happening in my life and stuff. While also trying to concentrate on driving and all of that. Um, at least it is for me. So that is what we do. Um, you know, I'll be honest with you guys. I have not really been doing all that well here lately. I still having a little bit issue with like the dizzy spell. It's just one long continuous dizzy spell, and like the dozing off all the time. And it's weird. Yeah, that's why I'm not doing a ton of ride along videos right now, mainly just because I don't trust myself when I'm going through these phases of dozing off randomly because I don't want to do that shit while I'm out riding, right? I definitely don't. I'm not afraid of dying. Like we just went over that on my thing, where I said, quit telling me that things are going to kill me like that's some kind of deterrent because, it's like y'all don't even know me. If you think that that's going to deter me from something, because it won't. But, I'm not afraid of death, is basically what I'm saying. I am definitely not scared to die. I go to sleep almost every single night, not to be bringing y'all down or whatever, but, it's the truth. I go to bed almost every single night hoping that it's the last one. But at any rate, that being said, I also don't want to fall asleep at the wheel and crash and get hurt. Like when I do die finally, I want to go in my sleep. That's why I kind of hope for it, at nights because I don't want to hurt no more. I just I just want to be done. Uh, it's kind of weird right now because it's like I'm not really fully isolating, but at the same time I kind of am, and it feels like like the walls are closing in, and you know I don't really get um like human affection or touch any of that stuff, and I don't have any when I say I don't have friends, understand what I mean is that I don't have any primary friends. Like I got old school friends and Facebook friends and neighbor friends, and I appreciate all of you. I really do. I love you all. But I don't have any primary friends. I don't have friends that call me up randomly, like, hey, let's go do something, or, want to come over and, just hang out, or, whatever. I did have one friend that would come over and hang out a lot. Like when I first moved here, he was all excited when I moved out here, but then, started talking all of this, misogynistic shit about some of my neighbors and stuff, and it just pissed me off. I called him out on it, and then that was it. um and it's not like it just, when I say misogynistic, I'm not talking about stuff I say it like, oh yeah, she got a nice ass, or or even hey, she's got a great rack, or man, I like to slap around them fun bags all night. That's, all that shit's normal, whatever, I'm here for that. I mean, I'm not gonna like, yell it out and catcall and shit because I do believe in respect and boundaries and, all of that. But it's when you start saying stuff like, I'm not gonna mention any names, the friend or the person they were talking about, but, like a comment like, there was a guy coming out of this girl's apartment, which actually turned out to be, I think, her brother or something. But like she had like just moved in, and he came over here, was hanging out, and was like, I bet that's the 10th guy she's had over here this week. I'm like, that's like the first time, the second time he'd ever seen her, and like the first time he'd ever seen her since she moved in, and what kind of claim is that? Um, that's, I mean, I hope I'm not alone in seeing the difference between saying, hey, yeah, I'd like to tap that, and saying, like, yeah, I bet she's a real fucking whore. I mean, for real, for real. Um, I think what it is, guys like look at women that are like obviously way out of your league, and then that they're way out of your league, because we are talking about a beautiful, fine woman, um, and then they get pissed off about it, and so that's when they resort to stuff like that, and oh well, she's hot as hell, so she must be a slut, kind of thing. That's not okay. That talk is not okay. I mean, I'm fine with the locker room talk or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, I'm gonna stop ranting about that because that's old school news anyway. But I'm just saying, the last comment they made about somebody here was inferring that because their this girl's boyfriend was over with his dad, that meant that him and his dad were running a train on his girlfriend. And again, there's no basis or anything on that other than just being an asshole. And that's not okay. That's not okay. Anyway, so that's what happened to that friend, and that's why we don't talk anymore. Um, which really sucks because, uh, homeboy had been my dude, like back since like third grade even. Um, but I don't want to hear that shit. I'm not fucking with you when you talk about people like that. I mean, especially like people that you don't know. It's different if you're talking about whatever. I'm gonna get off of that because anyway, as for what's going on with me personally, um, you know, there's a whole lot of loneliness, and just if I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I really ought to just hold all of this in because I'm about to go to my therapist, obviously, but um, there's no hope. There's no happy ending here. There's not going to be any happy ending for me, and I know it. I know that that's the truth, and it's like, you know, there's also no easy way out, and I'm just kind of like stuck and doing my thing, and I'm doing my thing, but like hardly anybody notices, and I have this big misconception about artists, like myself, that think, well, making the art, that's the point, and that's the end goal, and when we get frustrated that nobody's paying any attention to our art, and you get scolded for that, like, well, you made the art, so who cares? That's artists. Real artists don't care if people like their shit. Yes, we do. Don't act like artists don't want recognition. We live for that shit. Um, but you know, makes you feel shitty about your art. When you spend a month, 2 months, 3 months working on a music video or whatever, whatever your uh, art is, and then like hardly anybody responds or reacts or anything to it. So it's just kind of you know. Anyway, so on a little sort of more positive note, our Wawa did finally open. So I might take another ride along, do another ride along here soon. Give or take. Well, I say, you know, when my awakening stabilizes enough, is stable enough, I guess. Whatever, however you want to look at that. When I feel like I'm not gonna doze off on the way there. Uh, because I do want to go check that out. And Wawa's had the ices. They got the blue Fanta icy. That's good shit right there. That is some good shit. And I've come to decide, I actually think, now that they got the frozen Fanta machine fixed at the McDonald's, like, I think I actually like the Slurpee better than the frozen Fanta. Um, Go figure, go figure that one out. I don't know, man, or maybe I'm just weird. Well, I am. Either way, I'm weird. But and I thought I was having a heart attack. Was it last week or something? Because I've been having this like swelling in my ankle or whatever, and talked to my brother because like my brother's got like 20 something years of medical experience. So when we talk about medical shit, I tend to like listen at least a little bit, in spite of our history. Uh, but like, you know, apparently he's just too drunk, as usual, to like actually listen to me about my symptoms because, like it doesn't even like let me finish my symptoms before he get puts this idea in my head that it's a blood clot in my ankle. And so then I'm thinking about like having a blood clot in my ankle and everything. And everybody's like, well, watch out, if you feel like anything in your arm and, whatever, make sure, call 911. You really should go to the hospital now. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to go to the hospital. Plus, my dad is out of town and yada, yada, yada. So going to the hospital would mean having to go there in the rescue squad. And, so it's not an attractive option, obviously. And like, so I started having a numbing feeling in my arm, and it felt like, it was like a numbing feeling all the way down up through my middle fingers and everything. I'm like, oh shit, So I did. I called the rescue squad. Um, they came, but then they came and they checked me out, and they said, they determined, no, you're not having a heart attack, you're not having a stroke. We can take you to the hospital if you want to go to the hospital. It's up to you. They wouldn't say, they were very careful because they didn't want to say about anything about my symptoms with my foot to say, yes, that sounds like a blood clot, or no, that does not sound like a blood clot. But I thought, all right, if I'm not, they didn't seem like, they didn't seem to think, by the way they acted, that it was a super emergency for me to go to the hospital. So I decided, I'm not having a heart attack, I'm not having a stroke, I'm just going to stay home then. My brother threw a shit fit, and but I was like looking up the symptoms. I started talking to a couple other people, and I realized, well, the pain wasn't really from my ankle wasn't really all that bad. I mean, it's still there a little bit, but it's I would put it at a three. Excuse me. I put it at 4 out of 10. You know how they always ask you to do the pain scale from 1 to 10. I would put it at a 4. And the pain wasn't constant. The pain was not constant. The pain was really only like if I stretched my foot out or extended the muscle. And so after talking to a couple other people with medical experience, they're like, well, that's not a stroke. Or, excuse me, that's not a blood clot. If it was a blood clot, the pain would be constant, yada, yada, yada. It would really hurt. And, blah, blah, blah. Here comes the ups, man. He got them ups. But, so that's when I realized, it's, I should have realized because, he didn't let me even finish giving all of my symptoms before he made his diagnosis, And that is why you don't diagnose a patient while you're drinking, because you're too fucking drunk to really listen to the patient, And that's his history, that is his history, is he's always drinking. And, yeah. So then he calls me yelling at me about how I need to go to the hospital. Again, I'm sitting here trying to explain why I know for sure it's not a blood clot. And he's yelling and yelling at me. And then he's like, fine, if you, I hope you don't die in your sleep because an imperialism moved into your farts, or, whatever, I purposely misspoke those words. Yeah, I said the words, basically. But nickel, definitely an N word. Uh, but necto, nickel. Anywho, getting kaboot. Uh, you know, so that's what I realized, oh shit. And it also made me realize, on a side note, that he hasn't really changed as much as most of the family thinks that he has. But that's another wave in another ocean. This is not, I'm not here to talk shit or air his dirty laundry or anything, but it fucks me up because, it kind of puts me on this path of regurgitating my trauma in my head. If you're watching this by chance, remember you gave me that scar on the inside of my lip, and Mom told you, I'd carry that with me for the rest of my life. It's right here. I think about it every time my tongue rubs up against it. Uh, you know. Let's see what else going on. I do have another video film that I haven't edited. But I'm kind of scared too because the video did not go as I was planning. It was a kitnet box for keys. And I opened the box, and then she jumped on the box and in the box and would not let me do it the way I was trying to do it. And so that video kind of ended up all over the place. So I don't know how I'm going to edit through that and, you know, make it work. But I will. I will make that work. And she definitely did enjoy the box. Everything except for the treats. She did not like the treats. The treats were like those, what do you call those, lickable things? It's like a little tube of almost pate or something on the inside of them. and she did not like that. She was not into that like at all. To be fair though, she is a very, very picky eater. She loves her Temptations like every other cat because Temptations are basically made of cat crack. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've had thoughts about just be honest. I've had thoughts of just not doing this channel even anymore. But then I'm like, I don't take me, whatever when I say that because I'm not. I've thought about that throughout the course of me doing this after mom died. I started this as basically a way of occupying my time and, making it like, a little therapy thing or something, a little fun, more fun that I didn't, to occupy my mind, my time. It's part of the grieving process or whatever. But, like, I don't know what the fuck else I'm going to do with myself if I quit doing this, though. And, like, I've invested so much money and time in learning stuff, on here. So, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit. I did want to leave behind some, just some videos so that when my time does finally come, all the people that could have been hanging out with me right now but chose not to decide that they want to hang out with me one last time, they still can. I did manage to accomplish that goal. And, it's like almost, I think, 600 channel. There's 600 videos on YouTube just on the main channel. I also got a few videos on House of Perv. That one's, that channel's just about dead. And the Dreaming Turtles Relaxation and Chill. That one gets, periodic videos. The last one on there was the sounds of Hurricane Aaron from our trip a few weeks ago at the beach. And I did, both on House of Perv and on House of Gravy, I did the Tid Days music video. And just a little bit on that music video. I posted it here because House of Perv is just about dead. So I just posted it on both channels. The first time I tried to publish it, I just called it Tits, the music video. And they gave me a warning, a content warning. And so and actually, there's another one like that too. I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, that music video was I actually made that a few years back, and just never got around to actually publishing it. And then when I released it as Tits, the music video, I published it on YouTube and Facebook. YouTube took it down and gave me a content warning, and Facebook left it up. But anyway, my dad is here, so I'm going to pause. I'll get back with you here from the Berg. All right, so it is Therapy Day, and now we are just killing time before we go in and do some therapy. How do you do? Yeah, so where did we leave off? We was talking about oh yeah, we was talking about the the ride along video that got first taken down on YouTube. And if you want to see the original version of that video that I'm about to describe, it did go up on Facebook, so like you could see it there. Anyway, so this is like one of those, I guess, if you know, you know things. Anyway, I had about 4 times on that video um, that it just randomly scrolled across the top of the screen. Uh, this video was uploaded to xvideos.com. And I forgot about that part when I uploaded it. And they took it down and gave me a warning. And I was like, what the hell? You know, talking about sexual content or whatever. I was like, ain't no sexual content here. This is just a video of me riding my scooter through town and buying smokes, you know, like literally. And I went to McDonald's and stuff, you know, but no sexual content or anything. And I was like, what the hell? So I appealed their decision, and then my appeal was rejected. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? What the hell? And so then I'm watching it back on Facebook because Facebook uploaded it, published it, you know, kept it up or whatever. And I'm like, oh, this video was uploaded to xvideos.com. So anyway, I fixed it. Uh, I went in, I disabled that track on the video, and unfortunately, I also ended up accidentally editing out the photos that appeared in the video too. That was completely on accident. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, so I uploaded that alternate universe, that alternate dimension version of the video without the scrolly scroll onto YouTube. And so that version is the one that is currently up on YouTube. If you're curious about it, it is not the one about us shopping at the 340 crawl. That was the last one that we did. This was the one that was like ride along and ride along for cigs and bluey or something like that. Shooey shooey. Scooby Dooby. Something like, I don't know. It was the second to last ride along video that we did. And like everybody like walking through here like looking at me like I'm crazy, like you not see that I'm holding a camera here. You know, I am not talking to myself. I am talking to you guys. Oh yeah, I almost completely forgot. We are going after my appointment here. We are going to go to Home Depot and look for something that I am super excited about looking for. This might sound weird or, you know, maybe even a little TMI or whatever. I am looking for a bidet attachment because, like, I had the completely wrong idea about those things. I thought that, like, adding the bidet thing on there would require like a permanent attachment kind of thing, and apparently not. And not only does it not require a permanent attachment, like those things are fucking cheap, man. You know, like some of them are like 30 fucking bucks. And I'm like, oh fuck, man. You know, like I could do $30, even if I don't have $30. Like I can get $30 off my dad. You know, so that is what I'm doing. I am going to go to Home Depot and I am going to try to find me a bidet. Because I am sick and tired of toilet paper and all the money that I spend on toilet paper and the fucking irritation and the polyps and all of that, you know. I'm done. It's fucking done, man. And as a matter of fact, I might get one of those travel bidets too, which is basically just like a glorified poop gun. like a, what do you call it, like a water gun, and just spray your butthole with it. Um, you know, I don't know why. Well, actually, I do know why, but um, doesn't make much sense that that these things aren't like standardized in this country. It's like everybody's scared to get a little bit of water on their butt. Wash that ass. For real. Some of y'all dirty as fuck and you need to wash that ass. I'm just saying, though. Dudes being scared of using a bidet is like as ridiculous as these dudes that are scared of turning gay because they cross their legs. you know? Like, grow the fuck up, man. Grow the fuck up and wash that ass. I'm just saying. Uh, wash that ass. That is the entire moral of this story, or ethics, or whatever you want to call it, is wash that ass. Put some water on that ass. As we used to say it in jail, put some water on that ass. I still got like another 23 minutes. I'm just fucking off. Um, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And I am also sorry that I started off this vlog on such a low point. It's just, kind of, I mean, I'm trying to like make these vlogs as like a way of just like, mostly me being real about me and what's going on in my life, and I try to make the other videos more centered around having fun, whatever. This is my time to, open up and be vulnerable, I guess, a little bit, but um, that's just how things feel for me right now. It's not well, uh, and I don't really honestly think that it's going to get any better. I really don't. Uh, but that all that being said, understand, I'm not going back to my old ways and like, gonna try to, man, like, clock out early, as they say, because, even if I did, it's not gonna work. And, you know, best case scenario, I'll try some shit and then end up in the hospital against my will for, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, or whatever. And I don't want to do that, I ain't trying to go through all that shit again. I've been exploited by one psychiatric institution already, and, I'm not trying to do that again. So, um, as the song goes, I'll still wake up in the morning. Uh, you know, I'm frustrated. I don't have any hope. I was gonna say I don't have much hope. I really don't have any hope. Um, but I'm still gonna get up in the morning and live another day, because at this point, that's kind of all I know. That's kind of all I know how to do. Just get up and try, or or just get up and be up, and doze off a few hundred times throughout the day. Uh, oh, I do have that coming up. Since we are about halfway through this month, uh, that means we are like less than a month away from my sleep study. I say that in quotations because they're not actually checking me for sleep apnea, because like We already know I have sleep apnea. We already know I have super chronic, really bad sleep apnea. Uh, I've got enough sleep apnea to kill a horse or something. I don't know. But, so basically what she said during the consultation visit is that they're basically just going to, instead of testing me for sleep apnea, they're going to try some different things with the machine. And I think she said something about trying to like supply me with oxygen along with the CPAP, or a CPAP that has an oxygen thing built into it. Something like that. I don't know. Um, I guess I'll find out next month, in less than a month, next month. And, Lord knows, I am sick and fucking tired of being sick and fucking tired. I am sick and tired of being sick and fucking tired. Uh, that shit at the beach pissed me off. It's like I got girls in bikinis, like string bikini, like practically dental floss, like a foot away from my face, and I'm sitting there like falling asleep. That's not cool. Um, it's not cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still very much enjoyed our trip, but any hoot and getting kaboot. I can't think of anything important that I left out. So I still got a few minutes, but we're just going to go ahead and end it right here. So be on the lookout for that Kitnet box video. Should be coming sometime soon, I think. And, we'll have more stuff coming because I don't know how to quit. I'm not a quitter, I guess. I'm addicted to video or whatever. So anyway, thank you guys for sticking around and watching. And I'll see you all in the next one. I love you, and bye.